All right, so oh, I forgot to mention something. The entire time Eon was playing that game upside down. So now we're gonna do it right side up.
Yeah, so that was the upside down mode. So we're gonna go to access the regular mode. You actually have to put a button code in there. So got the button code inputted, and I think I'm just gonna count down. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, go.
So this is Tetris as it was meant to be seen, where the pieces move upwards into the stack. In this game mode, so the field has now been rotated 180 degrees. It hasn't just been mirrored vertically. This is important because one thing I didn't mention actually during that first round is that in this game, because of the way the rotation engine works, there is a strong preference for clearing pieces on the right side. In this mode, because of the 180-degree spin, Enchantress is going to be making a left side well and shoving her I pieces and L pieces down there.
Yeah, and so this is a mode I've gotten a lot more consistent at it since I played it at SGDQ last summer. But it's still, I'm less consistent than I am at the normal mode, so I am gonna do my best. I hope to at least make it into 20G, and there's a pretty good chance I'll get a Grandmaster rank out of this as well, so...
We'll see what happens. So, just for context here, so you know what's up with the lore. This girl that you're watching play right now was the first Rev Mode Grandmaster in the West, which is a pretty crazy accomplishment. In Tetris the Grandmaster, you can often measure things by first person to do it and first person in the West to do it. It pretty much always works out that way. Because this game was Japan only, and because of the way the arcade scene works over there compared to over here, games like this did not get as much attention, didn't develop the kind of competitive scene. You know, we just never got this game at all. So the West has always lagged behind a little. Not so much for Rev Mode, though, when we have players like Eon and Kai. I'm sure 777 has like a 9-minute Rev Mode GM, though, or something.
I don't honestly know if 777 has done Rev Mode. As far as I know, the best Rev Mode player is a person by the name of Jin8.
Yeah, Jin 8 is really good at Rev Mode.
Yeah, and in one of they have a monthly tournament at Pier 21 in Japan, where they play, basically you have to be a Grandmaster to enter the tournament. And one time, Jin 8 competed entirely in Rev Mode.
Legendary, truly legendary. Yeah, so Pier 21 is basically like the mecca of TGM. It is like the place for this game.
Yeah,
this game's going real smoothly right now.
I hope to be able to make it to Pier 21 for a Masters at some point in my life.
Same.
Okay, we're gonna do some Jeopardy strats there.
Oh, baby. Okay, we're good. Yeah, so this mode has the same speed curve as the mode we last saw, so we have this gravity reset at 200, and then it's going to start accelerating from here, decelerate a little bit before 500, and then go into 20G. It's really just the same deal, but upside down. And by upside down, I mean right side up, and the first mode we played was upside down, of course.
Of course.
This game is pretty cool. Gotta say, that's my hot take. That this game is pretty cool.
I would tend to agree with you.
Don't at me though. It's a Sunday. I'm chilling. Cool. Nice down stacking. So you may have noticed. Yeah, up stacking. Excuse me. I'm so used to reverse mode as opposed to this regular mode. So you may have noticed that Eon had a nice little kind of hole at the top of her stack for pretty much the first 300 levels of the game. In low gravity, it is really slow and often costly in terms of how many singles you'll have to do to fix holes like that. As such, you don't necessarily need to clear them. Like, as you can see, she's got another one now. It's really not a big necessity to fix until you're in 20G. Holes like that just kind of sit at the bottom. And it's often like a new player's instinct to be like, oh god, those holes are gonna kill me because they're just gonna like stack up and suddenly I'll have like 5 rows left to plan. That's not really what kills TGM games. Often what kills TGM games is attempts to fix issues gone wrong. So by and large, it is the smarter strategy to, you know, chill out, ignore those holes until you actually have a convenient opportunity to fix them. Your level stopped. Now you're not. Good job.
Thanks for the heads up.
No problem. It's really hard to pay attention to the level meter, and like doubly so in this mode.
I definitely got to do some upstacking though, while still clearing multi-lines to meet that GM requirement of S4.
Yeah, the S4 requirement, especially in these alternate modes like Rev mode and 20G mode, a 20G mode being a mode where it's 20G from the start. The S4 requirement is often the most challenging one. The S9 and rank 1 requirements are usually not that big of a deal, but this requirement at 500 can be a challenge because it's in a, it's, you know, it takes place during a particularly nasty part of the game that's really hard to do well.
Should be okay.
Oh yeah, at 39 700 points, yeah, you're good. One more line clear and you'll have it. And we're good at 490.
All right.
Let's watch your level. Nice eyepiece maneuver. So I guess I can go into a little more detail about the rotation engine of this game. So I mentioned something called wall kicks earlier. So essentially, this game has a rotation chart, is really kind of the way to look at it. So when you press a rotation button, the game looks at the table and says, okay, this is the next state this piece will be in. Most pieces, more or less, they don't really revolve around a central tile or anything like that. They do revolve around a central bottom row, with the exception of the eyepiece. If you want to see this table and more details, you can go to tgm.tips, which is a website and is a great website. Anyways, when you press a rotation button in this game, and the piece is in a spot where it can't rotate, the game is going to perform 2 checks. First, it's going to check to see if you can do that rotation as if the piece were 1 tile to the right. In this mode, that would be 1 tile to the left. If that fails, it will also check 1 tile to the left, or in this mode, 1 tile to the right, and that's called wall kicking. So this has a couple curious effects. The fact that it checks right before left is very specific. That, along with the fact that the eyepiece rotates 1 column farther to the right than to the left, because, you know, it's a 4-tile object, it can't rotate symmetrically, is why you've seen Eon stacking preferentially with a hole on the right in normal mode and with a hole on the left here in Rev mode. The other effect of this, in addition to just kind of determining how we stack, is an interesting little thing called Mihara's Conspiracy. Mihara being the lead producer of this game series. So oftentimes, not even oftentimes, occasionally you'll be in a situation where you throw down a piece and you're like, okay, here's a really good left-facing wall kick that I can do that will put this piece in a fantastic place. Shoutouts to Eon, by the way, who has cleared all the way down, is in a really safe position to finish the game from. Very, very impressive. There was just like no sweat in this fix. Anyways, so you try to make a wall kick to the left, and it will just force the piece to the right instead in a really, really dumb spot that you didn't see because you wouldn't intuitively think, oh, it should fit there. That's what's known as Mihara's Conspiracy. And that can be a fairly frustrating effect of the way this game preferences right-facing rotation. This right-facing rotation thing has one other minor effect, a little trick we like to call J-teleporting, where you can effectively teleport a J-piece across a single tile above the row it's sitting on. I don't know if we'll happen to catch that in this game. It's neat. Not something you need to know to Grandmaster, but can be useful if it should happen to arise.
Yeah, I did do a pretty neat eye spin earlier. I don't know if anyone
did I miss an
caught that.
eye spin?
Yeah.
Heck. Yeah, so, the thing is, I talked about wall kicks. Those rules do not apply to eyepieces. Eyepieces will not wall kick right or left. You have to rotate them in exactly the right horizontal position, or it won't work. The eyepiece has a bunch of, like, little peculiarities about it. You may wonder why, and I think kind of the explanation is that had Arika given the eyepiece the same mechanics that every other piece had, the game would have honestly been really easy because of it. It would have just been so simple to maneuver the eyepiece wherever you want. It would have made getting Tetris is absolutely trivial. Nice attempt at a synchro there. You tried. So Eon, I don't know if you caught this, Eon tried to do a frame-perfect trick called a synchro. As he said, this game runs at 60 frames per second. A synchro or a synchronized move is when you tried to do a movement and a rotation on this very same frame. This can allow you to skip over gaps that you otherwise wouldn't be able to cross. Eon attempted to do one with an eyepiece some number of levels ago. Unfortunately, as I said, they're frame perfect, so don't always get them. So it looks like we have 140 levels left to go. Eon is a little bit far down on the screen right now, but if you remember what I said about pyramid stacking, her stack is in a pretty good like physical shape right now. So it shouldn't be too hard for her to recover, pending a little bit of bountiful luck. Not even bountiful, just good. As long as the game is, like, minimally kind at all, Eon should be alright. She's doing good as far as score requirement is concerned. A couple multi-lines and she should be safe. As you can see, she just forewent a single to try and set one up. That's the kind of mindset you have to be in to get Grandmaster. You have to sometimes forego clearing lines in order to clear other lines. And yeah, she's bringing the stack down to the best of her ability. Game is not being very nice right now. Holy. Okay, that's a lot better. That's
I am a bit worried about score, so I might not... I will probably clear the game, but I might not get Grandmaster.
Just finish it out. We'll see what happens. So, yeah, Eon is not doing amazing on score because of how kind of the early 900s went. She's going to do her best to get some multi-line clears, but this late into the game, it might just not be possible.
Yeah, so...
Game, come on.
Oh, dang it. If I flipped the last two digits of my time there, I would have had sequential numbers.
Oh, nice. Very, very nice. S8, 999 game clear. Rev mode is really hard. That was some fantastic recovery. And, alright, gotta get up on the soapbox here. If you ever want to be someone important in the history of Tetris the Grandmaster and you've never played this game before, here's what you need to do. Turn on Tetris the Grandmaster 1 and start playing Rev mode and never play normal mode. Give it like 2 years.